Main thing I want to talk about is I started a Patreon. I'll tell you about it at the end. Hello there, I'm Greg and I'm making a steampunk style resonator lamp inspired by H.P Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft was an American writer of weird fiction from the 1910s to the 1930s. Weird fiction combines science fiction, horror, and dark fantasy to create Lovecraft's main thing, which is cosmic horror. The universe is vast and uncaring, and we're insignificant, and if we could see what's actually going on, we'd go mad. Good stuff. One of his short stories is called From Beyond, which involves a mad professor called Crawford Tillinghast, who has invented a machine which resonates the air and allows you to see that the air around us is full of monsters, and maybe then they can see you and bad things happen. The other main player in this story is my mate Chris Lackey. You'll remember from episode 1, we were getting ready for a big birthday party. We were going to go in fancy dress as the Cantina Band. I was making the costumes and instruments at the same time. I think that's why I'm a bit tired in this one. I can tell I'm not, so I'm trying to be very up to date to sort of counteract me from the past. So Chris, the reason I reached out to him, became his friend, is he was one of the co-founders and co-hosts of my favourite podcast, Strange Studies of Strange Stories. Weird fiction, horror, sci-fi. I really recommend it. It's absolutely my favourite podcast. It's great. Chris and I were at Necronomicon, the H.P. Lovecraft convention in Providence, Rhode Island, and talking about let's make some short films. So we ended up doing a trilogy of comedy shorts based on Lovecraft stories. We may have snuck onto an existing film set in an old mill, a mill which has since burnt down, tragically, but we had a lot of fun in there. And for that short, I had to build what we call a resonator. So if we can I'm telling my team to bring up the image. There we are. So what was this made from? There's the glass cloche from an old carriage clock, inside which is a cutlery holder with a toilet roll holder inside it and a little bit of a speaker on top. That's mounted on 4 plastic plant pot bases. That's mounted on a paint lid, and then it's standing on top of some old photograph projecting equipment I got from the uni where I used to teach. That's all mounted on an old jewellery box. Either side of it are a couple of green test tubes with little torches inside. In front of that is the inside gubbins from an antique wireless. Mounted on top of that is a toast rack and the fuel tank from a toy train. That's all mounted on top of one of the shelves from the unit from which I made my shenanigan. Some of those what are they called? Those silver canisters you get everywhere in the street. The wire from our old iron that I've had for years, a big plastic spindle that I got from scrap, some old lamp parts. The back is the top of a birdhouse with a picture frame mounted on the front of it, a little metal handle, and a guitar pickup cover. Then another little speaker attached to the side, and on top are 2 cake icing syringes. Inside those are 2 blue light up dog collars and then 2 drawer handles, sort of chrome knobs. And finally on the front there is a dial, because the story involved 3 layers of intensity to get the sort of 3-act structure of the short film. So that's made from a picture frame, the wooden base of a kitchen roll holder, the plastic lid from a lava lamp, an amp knob, and a plastic disc. That's the basic recipe of the original if you'd like to make your own. So for 2 or 3 years I had stored away this very good present idea of making this prop into a lamp for Chris's big birthday, which is what I'm doing in today's video. Go. So this is a quick, genuine one-day project, turning an old prop into a lamp. Before it was all lit up with LED dog collars on the inside, so it would flash a bit, and some of them were pink, some of them were purple. So when I say LED dog collars, it's a bundle of these. They look like that when you take the fabric collar off, and it's just a strip of 6 LEDs, and there's a button and battery in that end. But I just want to make it a lamp that you can have on a shelf and turn on, and it's a nice lamp. I thought about making it purple, but not sure about making a purple lamp. Turns out Chris totally liked the idea of having a purple lamp, as you'll see when we see the finished thing. So, taking these off for now because they might break. These are just, you're meant to drink shots out of them. It's like a neon test tube thing that have mini torches on the inside, stuck on there with super glue and epoxy resin. But the main thing I'm doing today is making the lamp bit fit, because this is an old speaker attached to the bottom of a cutlery draining thing with very cheap toilet brush holder on the inside, and that originally sat on there. I've since bought this lamp from the Asda's, and all I've done to this so far is attach this patterned leather to the outside, because you're just going to see a bit of a rim of this wooden base. It's just solid wood, so I can screw into it easily. And I've cut off, there was a ring there to hold the lampshade on. So yeah, what's the plan? Attach this here. I'm thinking of removing the plug, putting holes in so the wire can come out of the back and be a bit neater. Not really an expert in removing and putting plugs back on, but I'll just take a photo of it and put it back together how it should be. Then I had this, which is the base of the carriage clock that I think this came from. Because this is metal, I have an idea. Somewhere the lamp has to break open so that you can change the bulb. So if I put that there, that goes over there, that there, and then this just fits nicely over that. The idea I've had is that the brake is there, and I can put mini magnets on the underside of this so that once it goes on there, it doesn't just fall off. A lot of assumptions about magnets and what metal that's made of and the magnets being strong enough, but this is we're experimenting and finding things out. So we went to the Range, which is a lovely cheapo shop. The Works, B&M, the Range, Asda. These are my stomping grounds. And got these lovely, based on party ring biscuit coasters. They're just nice wedges of wood with a hole to tell you where the middle is. This is one I've coloured in black. I've edged it with my detailing item of choice, which is obviously a cable tie. And I've made the hole so far a bit bigger so that the hole fits over there. So it goes like that. So the reason for this biscuit of wood is that I need something to embed 4 little magnets into. That disc is where the magnets can go. So the only thing now, why am I saying the only thing? There's no only thing about it. I have a bulb, which does work, I've tested it, but so that won't come off. So I need to make that hole quite a bit bigger, figure out how to attach that to the bottom of this bit. That's quite easy. That's a epoxy resin, bit of hot glue. Then maybe a ring of foam on the inside of here to make this into one piece. Obviously working with glass is a bit scary, I just don't want to crack it. Basically make these into one thing that just fits on and off the bulb, but once it's on, the magnets hold it in place. And that's what I'm doing today. Making. It's more assemblage and problem solving than making. But first things first, attaching the toilet roll holder to the cutlery draining jar in a slightly better way than just having a cable tie on the back. Again, another difference between a prop that needs to look good on screen and a thing you can actually give to a friend as a present and say, ta-da! We're seeking permanent and slightly neat solutions. I'm just putting some 2-part epoxy around the lip of the toilet roll holder, and then that will stick inside permanently to the wire mesh that's in the bottom of the cutlery holder. So once it's in, put the cutlery holder on top, and I think I just weighed it down with a heavy book just to hold it in place with the epoxy, and they become permanently fused. So at the time I didn't have any hole saw bits. These things for drilling nice big, neat, easy circular holes. The reason I bought these is this. We'll call it an incident. You know, it deserves the word incident. I don't freak out or anything. This is a very sharp chisel, so what I'm doing isn't that crazy, but don't do it fast, do it right. But it did need to be fast. There we are. It's fine. As always, very tempting to edit this out, but yeah, I just broke that with the chisel. May as well leave it in because I don't know what I'm doing. This isn't a how-to, this is just a what I did. What I did was that. I'm going to tape that back together, I guess put some wood glue in, which I probably shouldn't undo until like tomorrow, and I'm going to use my Dremel little hand power tool. I thought the chisel might be quicker. Wasn't. Yeah, so it's the incident, the cataclysm, that made me buy some nice big, here's how to drill circles. I haven't used these yet, that's why they're still in the pack, but I need to be able to drill big circles. I just do. So here I'm using my Dremel. The mirror is just there to prove to you that I am indeed wearing my goggles. Alright, mate. Want a medal? You won't really see this edge because it's underneath the lamp, so it doesn't need to be massively tidy, but then just change the circular saw blade to a sanding drum, and I'm just smoothing out the inner circle. Painting. I'm slightly crazy in this video. I'm like, that's a ridiculous amount of black paint. Maybe I'm sort of insane with fatigue and exhaustion, But yeah, I squodged on a big blob of black paint, painted it around, and then this, because it's a nice wooden based lamp, you can just drill all the way down through it into the top of the jewellery box and then attach it with the world's squeakiest screws. Just enjoy that. Okay, at the time I was going through a goth phase and only using black hot glue. So I'm using goth glue to attach the plastic and brass or metal base, finally, to the wooden base of the lamp. Big circle of one, big circle of the other. Stand over it to make sure it's centered, and then we crouch. We drop and we crouch to make sure it's level. Here's another revelation. I talked about a lot of big talk about taking the plug off. It's not really a plug I've seen before. It says fused on the back. There isn't a screw. I could pop this bit of black plastic off, but nah. So I've just cut a ridge in this. This is actually an old paint pot lid. There. Widened it slightly at the bottom. If I can just wiggle this down there. Please don't break. Please don't break. Let's put a jump cut here. There's no way that doesn't go down there. Come on, come on. So there, yeah, so I'm getting into wondering if I'll ever share this video territory. You will. Because everything I do today is sort of not a disaster, but like, it's one of those things where... I was having a ham-fisted day. One of those days where every step... clumsy. Requires 3 more, because something breaks. All this paint's flaked off here, so now I'm worried about all the paint on this lid, because it's just plastic. This was just a prop that needed to last 2 days on screen, but it's fine. It's fine. That's through there. I've got a bit of metal work that's just going to hold the wire on the back there, and then this, before this starts flaking off any more, I'm going to coat this in super glue, probably put some baking powder on there as well, just to make like a concrete on there, which will just dry and set hard quickly, and then we can paint over it, or maybe make a band of tape or something to actually cover this gap, like a little detail that goes over the back. There. So we make and we repair. We make and we repair. What's that in Latin? I want that on my family crest. And now I'm painting like with my finger. I'm a bit crazy in this one. But it's fine. When I say it's fine, it really is fine. You know, you're making a present that your friend loves, and it's good to have a tight deadline. It's one of the reasons I want to make these videos every 2 weeks, because it just makes you finish things, and finished is better than perfect. I've been called a perfectionist many times in my life. Don't know what it means, you know. I want it to be right, not wrong. Anyway, these are neodymium. They're little magnets. They're very, very strong. They're quite cheap. They crack easily. It's an interesting thing. It's a shame, because the most fun is you can have them several inches apart and they just like, because they're really powerful, but they shatter, so you can't do that too much or you get in trouble. Yeah, they're really strong, so you need to embed them in wherever you're putting them quite strongly, otherwise they will pull themselves out of their housing. Drill a hole first, blob of goth glue, and then use your gomja bar to smooth out the glue. Gomja bar is a needle pin-like weapon from Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune, and also from the film, directed by David Lynch. So CA glue and baking powder, solution to all life's problems, embed it in there. Glue, powder, more glue, and smooth. Then a bit more painting, again, perfectionist, because this is the underside, but paint it black. Make it smooth, keep it secret, keep it safe. Stuck on with goth glue. As you can see, I've kind of pushed it on and the glue was spludged up, and it has spludged up through the little holes. So because you do see this lip when you're changing the light bulb, I'm just using some of this very nice antique gold enamel paint to cover over where you can see the black hot glue. This gold dish is actually just a green plastic plant pot dish with those 4 clips that are designed to hold a plant pot base, which are useful for the next step. I'm going to widen the circumference of those 4 pegs on the base with EVA foam so that it fits snugly inside the toilet brush holder. These are the thin EVA foam with a self-adhesive, just peel the back off, and I'm sticking them to those 4 tabs. So they are nice and squishy, and it's very satisfying. This is very nearly a pressure fit, except it comes off. So I just put some dots of super glue on those foam strips. I'm demonstrating a pressure fit. Yeah. Ew. Thumbs up. Nearly done. Nearly done. This is now mounted on its base, got magnets in the bottom, and this is all one piece that fits over the light bulb when the bulb needs changing. I'm delivering this evening, so this needs to be done. The only thing I've thought is that once it's on there, the magnets work, but it's not centered. So it's held on with magnets, but it's not centered on the base, which isn't a problem, but I've got time to sort it out. So I was thinking, initially I thought of a round thing, some kind of holding frame on the outside, but then I realized you could just hide it with a round thing that it sits on there. So I've got various round things, a bit of hose, a spray lid, the front off another watering can head, I think, or the lid from some peppercorns, which satisfying stuff. So I've just found the center. I'm going to drill out that to make it big enough that it fits over that. A couple of screws, maybe even just hot glue. Attach that around the bulb so that when this goes on, it has to sit on there and be in the middle of the base. So that's what I'm doing. This golden cone of loveliness is a step bit. So when you're not quite sure how big a round hole you need, you just keep going and the hole gets bigger. Those are two brass tube holding fixtures, not sure what they are, and then just two Meccano wheels stuck on underneath for detail. Then within the brass holders I've put, you can just see a little strip of black rubber because it's clamping some quite brittle plastic. So I'm sort of buffering it, a bit of suspension on the inside with some black rubber. And then there's that tightening silver cable clamp, tubing clamp, that I think is just decorative. So here's where we find out. That lights up quite nicely, and the other one is broken. But again, if it's on the day of delivery, it's broken. It's got new batteries in, it just doesn't work. Bulb in, lamp on, engage cloche, engage cloche. Just a wharf. Ah, and there it is, on my workbench. We had about half an hour before we were setting off to Chris's house, so they aren't the most beautiful beauty shots or glamorous glamour shots, but this isn't its final form. This is its pre-ultraviolet, pre-purple form, which you're about to see. And that's that. Just a fairly simple one-dayer. Hope that was interesting. Before we see the finished thing, the voice-activated finished thing.
Okay, Google, activate resonator.
I mean, it's just incredible what that guy can do. Today's YouTube channel recommendation is Nerdforge. That's Nerdforge. They make wonderful, mostly fantasy things, but they're very ambitious, they're very prolific, lots of videos, lots of painting, EVA foam, there's some wiring, there's 3D printing, and they're fearless about all the techniques that they try, and I recommend them lots. Let's take a look at the finished thing. Let's take a look at the finished thing. Let's take a look at the finished thing.
We entered the laboratory in the attic, and I observed that detestable electrical machine glowing with a sickly, sinister violet luminosity. It was connected with a powerful chemical battery, but seemed to be receiving no current, for I recalled that in its experimental stage it had sputtered and purred when in action. In reply to my question, Tillinghast mumbled that this permanent glow was not electrical in any sense that I could understand. Meanwhile, the luminosity increased, waned again, then assumed a pale outre color, or blend of colors, which I could neither place nor describe. Tillinghast had been watching me and noted my puzzled expression. "Do you know what that is?" he whispered. "That is ultraviolet." He chuckled oddly at my surprise. "You thought ultraviolet was invisible, and so it is. But you can see that and many other invisible things now."
Awesome. So thanks to Chris for shooting those shots of the final beast, and thanks to Chris and Chad Fifer, the hosts of the Strange Studies of Strange Stories podcast, for letting me use that clip of their reading. It's the actor Bruce Green. He was in True Grit. You can find that full reading at the link below. Also, I didn't actually plan this as a promotional tie-in event, but Chris Lackey and myself will be appearing in person, if you can believe it, and doing a Q&A and a screening of all three of those comedy short films at the Innsmouth Literary Festival on Saturday 30th of September, Saturday 30th of September in Bedford. Segue, I've started a Patreon. Yeah, I'm just going to include some outtakes from my Patreon intro video that will explain. All the methods I use or have used to make stuff in the past, none of it will be a secret or a mystery. You'll have enormous control. If you ask me to do something, I'll probably do it because I'm a bit of a doormat like that. Puppets, costumes, dioramas, props, electronics, haven't learnt those yet. Very nervous about learning them. I hate maths. You can learn with me. I'll buy a soldering iron. I'll commit. But yeah, for the most part, props and costumes from, we'll call it geek culture. I am, in the meantime, going to be trying to make movies. I've written one and we're very excited to make it, but ain't no income there. So I just want to put out a video every 2 weeks and be myself and share how I do it. I've never done a Patreon or crowdfunding before because I'm scared of failure. So that's emotional blackmail, isn't it? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you want to disappoint this face? No, it will benefit you, I promise. I'll tell you everything. My secrets. Huckle will regularly be in shot whether I want him to be or not. I love Tony Hart. I love Bob Ross. I love Gone Fishing. It's that. Jamiroquai was right, wasn't he, when he said, whoa, it's a crazy world we're living in. And Twitter, X, that's really going to date this video. Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared of social media going away. I really am, because Twitter's been the whole cause of my career for the past 10 years. So please follow me on Instagram. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be awesome. I'm saying please too much. I think I am offering a value proposal. You'll get downloads every month and you can ask me stuff and share things. I'll probably do a Discord where we can just have our own private little chill out zone and talk crafts. I also have a big A2 wall chart that I've just filled and color coded and everything to take me up to January. So I do have a plan for what I want to make every 2 weeks for the rest of the year. But it'll fizzle if no one's interested. So yeah, if you're already subscribed to some Patreons or you've never done it before but might consider it, I would appreciate it more than I can tell you. I'll give you a lot of stuff. Songs, digital downloads, haul videos and behind the scenes stuff. Because I'm very grateful if you sign up. And if you don't, well, we'll deal with that when it happens, I guess. So yes, it's a brave new world and I'm full of cosmic horror. No, I'm full of cosmic optimism. Yeah, thanks for watching, lots of love, and I will see you very soon.